All right, so we're diving into Omar Khayyam today. And I gotta say, this guy's fascinating. Like, you sink in some of his poetry.
Yeah, he's best known for the Rubaiyat, beautiful, evocative stuff.
Right. And I was reading him and I'm like, this guy's got it figured out, talking about life and love and wine. But then I find out he's also this math genius. It's like, how do those two even go together?
It's funny, isn't it? We tend to put people in these boxes, but back then, in 11th century Persia, it wasn't so strange.
Okay, so 11th century Persia. Paint me a picture here. What's going on in the world, and where does someone like Omar Khayyam fit in?
Well, it's not just sand dunes and camels, despite what some might picture. Khayyam was living in the Seljuk Empire, a really powerful empire at the time, and for them, knowledge was power.
So they weren't just about conquering territory.
No, they wanted to conquer knowledge too. They funded libraries, built observatories, even had this whole Academy of Sciences. For a scholar like Khayyam, it was the perfect environment.
Wow, okay, so this Seljuk Empire sounds pretty enlightened for their time. And they appreciated poetry too. Because let me tell you, when I read that line from the Rubaiyat, the one you pointed out, the one about the moving finger, it's like, whoa.
The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on.
Yes, exactly. And it's like, there's this beauty, this melancholy, but also this underlying logic to it. It's not just emotional, it's philosophical. So like, what's the typical Western take on this stuff? Because I can see why it resonated.
Well, the Rubaiyat actually became hugely popular in the West in the 19th century, and yeah, it totally fit the whole romantic vibe, carpe diem and seize the day, you are the master of your fate.
It makes sense. But it also feels like there's, I don't know, a deeper layer there. Especially knowing about Khayyam's other life, the math whiz side. So what kind of math are we talking about here? Give me the SparkNotes version.
Okay, so you ready? Cubic equations.
Oh. As in x to the power of 3. Because my high school algebra is getting a little fuzzy?
Exactly. It's algebra, but kicked up a notch. And Khayyam developed a way to solve these equations geometrically.
Geometrically.
Yeah, he visualized them as these intersecting curves, these shapes. It was revolutionary.
That's amazing. Okay, so we've got this guy solving super complex equations by visualizing shapes. How does that translate into poetry about, like, the meaning of life?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And I don't think there's a single answer, but for me, it's about the mindset. To tackle those equations, you need a mind that craves order, that seeks patterns. And I think you see that in his poetry, too, that search for meaning, that precision in his words.
So it's like he's applying the same rigor to both.
Exactly. And it goes even further than that. He even reformed the calendar, made it incredibly accurate.
Wait, hold on. He tinkered with time itself.
He did. His calendar is so accurate that it only loses one day every 3,770 years. I mean, talk about precision. And think about it. This wasn't just about numbers. It was about understanding time's passage, a theme that resonates deeply in the Rubaiyat.
It's almost like by understanding those mathematical principles, he gained a whole new perspective on life, on time, on everything.
Absolutely. And it makes you wonder, right? We divide knowledge into these neat categories today: math, literature, history. But Khayyam reminds us that it's all connected.
He's a true Renaissance man. Centuries before the Renaissance.
Exactly. And it's a good reminder for all of us. Maybe the real breakthroughs come when we start looking for connections between things, when we stop compartmentalizing. What if we brought a little bit of poetry to our science or a bit of logic to our art?
Now, those are some thought-provoking questions. This deep dive has been incredible. I know I'm going to be thinking about Omar Khayyam in a whole new light. Thanks for joining us.